There is statement that people often use. I think it is wrong. You hear people often say, I love you from my heart, or from the bottom of my heart. There is nothing in your heart except blood. Blood is the only thing that flows in your heart. That's why people send heart sticker, meaning love is the blood. Maybe you can love somebody through the brain. You can love someone from your brain, not from your heart. The heart only has blood flow. So we'll look at it in detail, how blood flows through the heart. Okay? At this point, depending on your school of thought, there are some school of thought you are meant to label inside. There are some school of thought you need to label outside the diagram. You're not meant to label inside the diagram. Okay? To understand this diagram, you can see from my diagram that this is the structure of the heart. The up is the atrium, the down is the ventricle. Like in some other animals, like fish and rest of them, where we have single circulation, you see that the heart, which is responsible for pumping of blood, pumps blood and it gets oxygen, passes through the gill and goes into the systemic circulation. But for mammal, human being, and rest of other bigger animals, we have double circulation, and that's why we have to partition our heart into two by this septum. This interventricular septum or interatrial septum separates the heart into right and left. And you have to understand with me that when you're talking about anatomy, your left hand side becomes your right, then your right hand side becomes your left. So that's why we have from the top superior vena cava, we have the right pulmonary artery, we have the right pulmonary vein, sorry, this is artery. Then we have the inferior vena cava, and looking at this at the top, we have brachiocephalic trunk, we have left common carotid artery, we have the left subclavian artery, that is LSC, the left subclavian artery. So you know the brachiocephalic also have their own branches to break into left subclavian and left common carotid artery, but we don't want to go there. So looking at this heart, blood circulation starts from deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated, I mean blood that has no oxygen. The ones they got from the tissues at the cellular level, they flow through the vein into the heart, because it's already established that vein takes blood to the heart, while artery takes blood out of the heart to the systemic circulation to where they are needed in the cells. So every blood that flows in the body comes into the heart through the two major trunks, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Blood from the head, neck, upper hands comes down into the right atrium through the superior vena cava, SVC. While the ones at the lower limb, the abdomen and the rest of them, moves into the heart and through the inferior vena cava. As both blood converges into the right atrium from the superior and inferior vena cava, they pass through the T valve, the tricuspid valve. So from the T valve, they flow into the P, passing through the pulmonary valve. From here, from P, is a semilunar valve. That means it's like a lunar shape, like if you talk about the sun. That's why they derive the name semilunar valve into the pulmonary trunk. So at this trunk, some flow into the left trunk, while some take into the right and left trunks. To the lungs, while this one goes into the lungs as well, they get oxygenated and come back as oxygenated blood. They come back to the heart via the pulmonary artery. From the lungs, it flows back into the heart. The color have changed. They are oxygenated. So both of them came through these vessels, both left and right, because it flows from this vessel is at the back of the heart. If you slide the heart, you see it. So they flow into the left atrium. From the left atrium, they come down into the mitral valve, because it has two major cups. So at these mitral valves, it flows again up through the aorta, the aortic valve. In the aortic valve, it flows again into several branches, where it first of all gives coronary artery, which is the vessel that feeds the heart. Then it flows through this way. Some go here, some go here, some come down through this way into our legs, and that's what we call double circulation that occurs in human. And looking at this TPMA, try pulling my aorta, is an acronym to describe the blood flow through the heart. It simply means deoxygenated blood flows into the right atrium through the tricuspid valve. From the tricuspid valve, it moves into the right ventricle, and they are pumped. Going through this acronym, try pulling my aorta. T means that deoxygenated blood in the whole body moves into the heart, and through the T, which is the tricuspid valve, they descend into the ventricle, and from the pulmonary valve, or through the pulmonary vein, they go into the pulmonary trunk, where they get oxygenated via right and left pulmonary artery, get oxygenated at the lungs. They come back into the heart again through this way, and flows from the pulmonary vein into the heart again, and come back into the left ventricle via the mitral valve. From the mitral valve, it goes through the aorta, through the aortic valve, to where it goes for systemic circulation. So that's why we call try pulling my heart means tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, or pulmonary valve, or the semilunar valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. And that's the valve involved in the double circulation of blood in the heart.